frame it for people, and this is like a real life, I don't make no secrets, a real scenario that I've had to just kind of work through over time. But for example, like most people that follow know, I lost my daughter. And then people ask me, do you want to have kids again? And I had to really think about that because sometimes it'll be like, no. And the truth is, maybe yes. I know for sure I don't want to lose another kid again. Right. But there's no pathway. You know, like if you want to try to do this again, then you got to take the risk of you might fall again and you might be disappointed again. And so like if me just wanting this one outcome, then I would just do it, but it don't work like that. You got to throw yourself back in there. You know what I'm saying? Just like, well, do I want to run? Do I want to like run another marathon? I don't want to lose another marathon, but I do kind of want to run, but it's the same platform. And so one is going to be like, no, do I want to win more than I'm afraid of losing? That is what and so when people ask it, so you got to realize, you have to kind of really dissect what's being asked and place it with the emotions that come up, because people are like, oh, do you want to have another? And I used to be like, you know what? I don't know. And that was my most honest answer. I said, I don't know. I know for certain I don't want to lose another one.
Right.
Because that's not saying the guy can't pull me back, but that's a hard place to pull back from. And I ain't trying to run. I ain't running that again.
Right.
Not like raising my hand and volunteering for it.
Right.
Oh,
but if you say, oh, I would like to carry and have another baby, it's like, well, you got to welcome that there's a possibility that this outcome that could be devastating could happen if you try this again. And so like, you know what? Now I'll just not try. You know what I'm saying? But that, I think, if that the description of it. And so sometimes you land in the I don't know until you really start to dissect, because like it sounds like the same thing, but the same thing isn't being asked. Or are you answering the right question? Or is like, do you need a more accurate description of what you're saying? Because it's not that I don't want what God promised, but I don't want to fall on my face again. And and there's no guarantee.
I love
and so that's what the feeling I think people wrestle with. It's not that they don't want it, but if it come with that, I'll pass.
Right.
I'll forfeit.
Right.
And how many promises are we forfeiting because we got beef with God? Because God, you let me down the last time. And it feels like you let me down the last time, but your ways are higher. And that's a real wrestle you got to have with God on those things. And they're unique and deeply personal for everybody. Because only you know that thing of like, you know what? I can't keep trying that thing. Because the truth is, you probably wanted, or at least wanted it so much, which is why not getting it was so devastating.
So disappointing.
And so it's just like, I can't even put myself in that arena again, because I know what it feels like to get punched in the mouth. I ain't trying to get punched in the mouth, but I want to win. I want to have the heavyweight championship. But like, well, you might have to risk getting punched in the mouth. And so I think that's the wrestle.
No,